I'm Diana Blass, and it's time to get in the mix.
We hear amazing stories about KFC experiences. Sometimes those stories come with a past tense.
KFC is working to attract a younger consumer, and it's interesting to see how they're doing it. Menu innovation, which we see rampant across the industry right now.
And this is really exciting because, as we all know, the innovation wheel sort of grinded to a halt in 2020.
You'll hear more about KFC's strategy later in this video from Nation's Restaurant News' Alicia Kelso. But first, let's dive into the new menu item making headlines for its unusual add-on. Starbucks has decided to infuse
cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil to its coffee in Italy.
And to that, Nation's Restaurant News' editorial director says,
Ew. I am gonna go out on a limb here and guess this is a failure.
The drink has gotten mixed reviews from coffee lovers, some labeling it as bizarre, others as a luxury, noting the health benefits of olive oil and its unique taste. The drink is currently available at stores in Italy, where Schultz was inspired by the drink. It's expected to hit some U.S. stores later this spring. And Nation's Restaurant News' Brett Thorne says, don't count Starbucks out just yet.
They're the ones who convinced people to spend 3 times as much for their coffee as they were before. They convinced the world that during the fall you had to have pumpkin spices.
It comes at a time when Starbucks faces increasing competition in the coffee world, and this time from Panera. The cafe chain plans to make coffee a key part of its marketing strategy, and it's doing so through subscription services, offering unlimited coffee for $8.99 a month and unlimited hot and cold drinks for $11.99 a month. The subscription is paying off. Could this speak to a larger industry trend? Let's turn to Nation's Restaurant News' Joanna Fantozzi.
So Panera isn't really the only company out there that's dabbling in subscriptions, but a lot of the other brands that we've seen that are trying out subscription programs seem to be doing them in a kind of temporary one-off marketing way. But Panera's seems to be permanent, all the time, all year round. And I guess it's working because Panera said that now 1/4 of their orders come from unlimited SIP members who usually like to add in sandwiches or salads to their drink orders because that's kind of the point of the subscription program. And hey, if it worked for Netflix and other streaming services, it can work for restaurants, right?
Menu innovation, subscription programs, these are all ways that restaurant operators aim to shield themselves from economic woes. As NRA's recent industry report points out, that restaurants have yet to fully recover from the pandemic. But it's not all bad news. Let's turn to Nation's Restaurant News' editorial director, Sam Okus.
Food service businesses are expected to do just a hair less than $1 trillion in sales in 2023. That number is about $997 billion in sales. Now, the good news is that's up over 2022. The bad news is that we still have not come back to pre-pandemic levels. When you adjust for inflation, that figure is still about 8.6% less than 2019. Now, according to the report, restaurants are expected to hire an additional 500,000 employees by the end of 2023 to get to about 15.5 million employees. That is up over 2019, so that is good news. Of course, challenges remain. Labor is one of them. Only 1 in 10 restaurant operators report that recruiting and retaining employees will be easier this year over last year. About 58% of them say tech and automation is going to be expected to ease those labor woes.
Now to Nation's Restaurant News' Alicia Kelso. She opens up her reporter's notebook to tell us about her recent visits to the headquarters of 2 major chicken powerhouses, KFC and Chick-fil-A.
At KFC, for example, they're focused on expanding their audience to reach younger demographics, specifically families with kids and families with teens. In doing so, they're rolling out new, what they call everyday occasions. Their new chicken wraps are a good example of this. They're also testing chicken nuggets in some markets and variations of their wildly successful chicken sandwich. So much more to come here. At Chick-fil-A, if you haven't heard, they're testing a new cauliflower sandwich, again, hoping to expand their audience to maybe entice more flexitarians, more, win over that veto vote. But basically, the impetus behind this launch was they simply heard from their customers that they wanted more vegetable offerings. I do add that this cauliflower sandwich has been in test or has been in development for about 4 years.
And those 4 years are significant. Many fast food chains and other restaurants have unveiled plant-based offerings only to pull them off the shelves once consumer habits have changed. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Chick-fil-A's items. We wrap up today's In the Mix with a look at the food and fashion event attended by Nation's Restaurant News' Ron Ruggles. The event serves as a fundraiser for the Texas Restaurant Foundation and its ProStart culinary education program. It featured catwalk models wearing designs that had to include 20% of food service items from the participating restaurants. Since its founding in 2017, the event has raised over $200,000. So there you have it. You're now in the mix with Nation's Restaurant News. For more coverage on these headlines and others, be sure to follow along at nrn.com. Till next time, I'm Diana Blass.